Welcome to Politics Tonight, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this Tuesday. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. It's a 30-minute ride tonight. Thank you so much for joining us once again. Governor Fubara says no price is too big to pay for peace in his first reaction 24 hours after President Tinubu brokered peace in Rivers State political crisis. On the interview segment for today, we focus on deepening women participation and governance in Nigeria with a lawyer, development consultant, and public affairs analyst, Awokoya, as our guest. Welcome to Politics Tonight, everyone. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the program, everyone. Now let's get straight into our conversation for tonight. I'm joined by a lawyer, development consultant, and public affairs analyst, Awokoya, for discussion on deepening women participation and governance in Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us, madam.
Thank you for
It's a pleasure having you on Politics Tonight. Thank you so much. Right, so President Tinubu had said he would feature women and youth in his government. And so last night on the program, it was about youth potential and the task of fixing Nigerian economy. And so tonight it's about we women. It's almost 7 months into his administration. How will you describe the involvement of women in governance?
If we're talking about the executive, which is President Tinubu's portfolio, I would say that I don't think we fared much better than the past administrations because we now have 8 women ministers and we used to have 7 when it was during the term of President Buhari. But because the President Tinubu's cabinet is larger than Buhari, it's like the percentage of women participation still hasn't gone higher because we now have 8 out of 42 or 43, whereas we had 7 out of about maybe 40 in the last administration. So I think we still haven't done as well as we should be. But I wouldn't say that that is really a major problem because we have women in so many other areas of the executive. We have in the MDAs, we've got women in very, very solid places like the FAN, Federal Airports Authority.
All the ministries, processes and agencies.
Quite a few of them. So I think we women also have to do a lot to position ourselves to get there. I'm not a feminist, I must tell you from beginning, but I do think that the feminists get it wrong. If they want to actually propel women into positions, then they need to do it in a strategic manner and not the always trying to fight and have arguments and everything.
So we'll get there because that would be a very interesting discussion. Now let's talk about the appointments of some of these women by the president into his government. What's your impression?
Well, I have to be diplomatic, and I'm not known for being very diplomatic. But I'll try to. We have some excellent choices on paper, but in the past 3 months, I haven't really been able to say that this particular female minister has been outstanding or is giving me an impression that she is going to be outstanding. We've seen a lot of them going about. Better Edu stands out as one of the ones who is very active, but when we're looking at actual impact that they have had, it's a little bit too short to judge them really. Okay. But I'm not too sure that we have the woman in trade who has an excellent CV. I mean, she's a medical doctor. She's been in the banks. You know, she has an excellent CV, like I say. So I'm expecting to have a lot of good things from her portfolio in trade because that's actually a pivotal sector, especially with SMEs and young people doing good and for our growth in Nigeria. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she brings to the table. Then we've got this lady, who is the minister for Women Affairs. I think she's Uju Kennedy. I've forgotten the surname. Uju seems to have gotten herself into unnecessary controversies since she came into power, and I fear for her that she might be judged by those controversies, and if she does not quickly address some of those issues, people might not take her very, very seriously going forward because of those unnecessary mishaps. So I think, who else do I know that has actually been doing pretty good things? There's another one, Hannatu Musawa, I think, who is supposed to be in a new ministry, the culture and creative something. And you expect her to want to make an impact. We really, really expect her, because culture is one of the things that should unify Nigeria and Nigerians, and should actually, it's something that if she worked with the female minister in tourism, if they could actually come together, culture and tourism could actually give us a lot of improvement in our GDP, because it would attract, it's another area that would attract development into Nigeria. But again, I am not yet seeing what she's planning. I can't see the vision for that ministry. I can't really see it. Because if you look at culture, if you remember when the Djibouti had this Uju Day Oba festival, and you saw all the pomp and pageantry, you have so many of those things going around in Nigeria. Virtually every zone has a lot of these cultural days. So if it's something that is harnessed and we have a program to showcase these things, it could actually become something that will attract visitors. So I think the tourism minister and the cultural minister should be working together. And there's a little bit of confusion between the tourism person, no, not the tourism, the cultural person thinking perhaps she should be in NOA or doing some work of the National Orientation Agency. You understand? Trying to, so they have to all work together. The three that actually relate to each other should try and work together so as to project a vision for development. We should all be looking at economic development. What can each ministry bring into our economy and get it to move? So I don't think they should be working apart. They should at least be talking. They've got the NTA, they've got television stations. So something must come as a positive action plan. I haven't seen the vision, and I've not seen the actions from those three ministries. Then with Betta Edu, I still think that she has the opportunity to really, really make an impact, especially in the lives of the poor people. But I'm not yet sure if she does not really know what she should be concentrating on, because there seems to be too many things. First, you hear that you are going to have a trader money or something, and they're taking it up. You see her here today, you see her there tomorrow. You are not yet sure what is she going to focus on. Meanwhile, the people, there are so many poor people there who actually still need this feeling that, yes, we have a ministry that is catering for our needs. The World Bank keeps coming to her, offering her all sorts of projects, and I keep thinking, you have to know what you want and what will be impact. I'm very concerned about impact.
All right, then. So, you've also said that it may be too early to start scrutinizing these ministers and their ministries. But how confident are you about the ability of some women in the government to deliver across board?
Well, let me just say something that women deliver. We historically, women know that they are being judged. So they try to do their best. And sometimes wanting people to know that they are capable can actually be a burden. And we make them go jumping around. What I would just say is that I don't have a problem, because like I've said, the CVs of a lot of them are quite good. You can't be in the bank for quite a lot of time, where we all know about the way they have to meet targets and the rest of it. So they are challenged, they are pushed. So I don't see them not performing. I think what they need to do is settle down first, design their program, have a vision, talk their vision with the president or with whoever it is they need to talk to, and then put some action plan. They need to plan so that people can see what it is they want to achieve. Once we see that, we probably will be able to go along with them.
All right, so talking about action plans, I mean, Nigeria is facing economic hardship as we speak. What roles do you think women can play in boosting the economy?
Yeah. We are actually the ones who boost the economy. I'm sorry, this is what I think, because women are the ones found everywhere. They find women in the farms, you find women in trade, you find women in the markets, you find women everywhere, you know. And when you go into the banking sector, at that high level, in fact, we have a lot of women there. So right now, I think if I were the president, I would concentrate on a lot of things that are women focused, because when we get the opportunity and we get the money, we actually do know that this is an opportunity we don't want to miss, you know. So I would focus on, we keep talking about throwing money after people, but when you throw money that you have not actually set into plan what that money should go for, when you expect the returns to come in, what happens if the returns don't come in? What are the sanctions? You know, in the government, we keep giving people money. Oh, SME, trader money, and this. Trader money, you get a certain amount of money, and when you pay back, you can draw on it again. That's an incentive for people to pay, because they know that they can draw on a higher amount of money. In farming, we need government to look at women cooperatives. I would personally wish that they would create more women cooperatives, help women to organize, you know, so that when the money comes and you want to give to a cooperative like the Anchor Borrowers program that we had, give it to women cooperatives and make sure, because I know that women will monitor each other, they would bring the money back. So rather than...
But do you think the policy is actually the problem here, or the implementation? Talking about conditional cash transfer, do you think it...
Okay, that is actually my field. You know, we keep saying conditional cash transfer, and a lot of us don't know that it's different. In the last administration, what they were doing was actually direct, just cash transfer. I don't think there was conditional cash transfer. Conditional cash transfer comes with a condition. The condition usually is like a HDI, a Human Development Indicator, index that comes with it. Like, if you're giving this money, you must enroll your children in school. You must enroll your children in the health plan. If your children don't go to school, you don't get the money for the next month. So there's always something to monitor. If what they're trying to achieve is adult literacy, then those women that get the money, the condition is that they attend adult classes. So if it's going to be a conditional cash transfer, somebody has to monitor the conditions and see that they are being actually affected. Because that way, I like conditional cash transfer, because that way we are trying to get some of our indices to improve. Like our adult literacy might go up, children under 5, death of children under 5 might reduce. So if it's going to be a conditional transfer, some monitoring and evaluation has to be part and parcel of the scheme. Otherwise, it's just another free money.
All right. So earlier you talked about opportunities for women and how we women should strategically position ourselves for this position. Yes. And you also said women deliver in every sphere of life. But then, to be very honest, some women have occupied key positions in the past but failed to deliver. So how will you advise women to act when they eventually get these positions?
If we look at the percentage of men who fail in positions and compare it to percentages of women who fail, you will see that the men fail more. In the last administration, we had Zainab. First of all, we had Adeosho as the Minister for Finance. She didn't fail. Then we had Zainab. I don't think we had failure there. You know, so to me, women in positions, like I said, look at the banks, women don't fail. They are there, CEOs, Fidelity Bank, and they are not failing. But here, what I mean when I say that women need to position themselves, we still expect it to be given to us.
Okay.
At the lower levels, before you get to the top, you need to start at the lower levels. I want to see more women in local government administration. I want them to go in and fight for such positions, local government administration. Then fight to get to the House of Assembly. So we need to start the same way the men start. Not that we expect that it is at ministerial level that we should get in. Then we also need to go deep into the grassroots. Let's occupy the grassroots, the ward level, all those levels. Let's actually take up roots there and build on, rather than expecting that, oh, it's affirmative action because somebody has promised that they will give women a certain percentage, then we start scrambling there, you know. So I think the first thing I'll say is that go deep into the structure at the beginning and start operating and become strong.
All right, but have you also considered some of those constraints, narrative of barriers and challenges?
Yeah, we have a lot of barriers. Women, first and foremost, if you are a strong woman, your husband might not like it. So you have that balancing act. Do I want to keep my home or do I want to keep my career?
That's a big challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge. But again, we have to know that if you put yourself out there, you must count your costs. You should have counted the cost before. So if you're somebody who knows that your husband is not this kind of person, like I said, you count the cost. And you do a SWOT analysis, what's the strength that I'm bringing in to that marriage that will make me be able to remain in that marriage despite my ambition? And then you have a discussion about it. So that's one of the barriers. I can't really say much about that because it depends on individual circumstances. We have women, look at it. When a woman becomes strong, like Margaret Thatcher, the husband was always addressed as Dennis. People were laughing at him, even in civilized society. So it's going to happen there too. When you get a woman that is very strong, the husband might not like the fallout.
Now, Nigeria has a large women population,
Yes.
who always mobilize for election.
Yeah.
How can these be harnessed by women to boost their political career?
Precisely. That's why I said it is from the grassroots. If we are in local government, these are where we start actually getting into government. At that level, we can actually insist. It depends on the political parties. The APC has a percentage that I think is recommended of women that must be in positions, and these women, that. We need to fight for it.
Because I wanted to talk about patriarchal party structure.
Yeah, it is. It's a patriarchal society. It is a patriarchal society, but we can make it more matriarchal if we ourselves work together. Let me just give you an example. If we have 57 LCDAs and LGAs in, let's take an example of Lagos, there is no reason under the sun why women cannot insist that 20 must be occupied by women at that lower level. It's very easy for us not to vote for them at the local government level because that's where we have the numbers. Are you getting me? So we need to insist, but we need somebody to champion that cause of women, a woman that is strong. We need people like who are already there, who are not the women leader, but somebody like Abike Dabiri, people who have actually had to go through, so they have experience, and they should be able to champion and organize women from the grassroots. And we just won't go to vote. We don't even have to say we are fighting. We won't go out to vote if they don't do this. You know, and then we get it into the party structure. Let them put it into the constitution.
That's fair enough.
You know?
But we've also had some NGOs usually involved or more involved in mobilization of women in politics and governance. How do you think Nigeria can form some kind of synergy with them to brighten the chances of women?
I don't like NGOs. I don't like NGOs. They are there for, it's always so, it sounds altruistic and sounds very nice on there. But when they actually start this work, I don't trust their agenda. I think what we need is CDAs, you know, community development associations. Women should get in there and put themselves forward. Then I have always advocated for a structure of governance where we have leadership from the grassroots. I like a bottom-up model of leadership, not a top-down. If women are in the community development associations, if women then move into local governments, then we will be populating some good structure. If we've got 20 local governments, there's no way we won't get House of Rep, we won't get almost like 1/3 or half, because we would have mastered, you see, we would have trained women into that position. Our problem is that we don't have people who can talk, who are forceful. Women are made to feel that they shouldn't even talk. So we are made to beg for everything. Meanwhile, we have people who are capable. So I believe that we should just show them what we can do by getting into all available structures and not just be looking at the top. You know.
That's cool. Now, let's also talk about insecurity. With women and children, the most hit in most of these situations, how do you think women can be best catered for?
For insecurity?
When it comes to insecurity issues.
Well, the first thing I would say is that women have abandoned a lot of things. We are competing in a lot of areas that it's making us to be a bit lost. In the olden days, I'll talk about what you mean by insecurity, but I want to say that already in the home, there is insecurity. There are lapses that allow insecurity to creep into our lives. Our children, we don't know where they are at all given times. So if they are kidnapped, it comes as a surprise. It's like we're surprised that our children could be kidnapped. Because we go to work, because of the economic problems, women are now in roles of breadwinner and things that we were not doing in our own time when my mommy was raising me. She was a teacher. She came home at 2 after school. Women then were nurses. They got home during shifts. They had specific time, so they were at home. Now we don't. We don't. So insecurity will creep in because we are depending on other people to look after our children. I don't know how government can isolate women and say, this insecurity, this is what I'm going to do with women. But I think women themselves should be the ones at the forefront of not just give your daughter a phone or give your son a phone, but actually having a tracking system on that phone so that you know where they are going. I mean, when my child was here with us in Nigeria and she was young, I mean, the dad put a tracking system in the car so that if they go past a way they're not supposed to, we will call the driver immediately. Wasiu, Mbolongba. That's what we'll say immediately. And he got to know that there was a tracking system in the car. And the girl had a phone too, which we could find my friends, we could find where she... So security is something that all of us have to watch out of. A lot of women don't even know the homes of the friends of their children. They don't. They are surprised. Your daughter or your son will tell you, I'm going to play with somebody, and off they go, and you haven't got a clue. So security is about intelligence, it's about native intelligence and educated intelligence of tracking and knowing and you should be able to know what is wrong with the child. There's so much drugs going around, and parents are surprised. I can identify when my child is becoming a bit off. I don't need anybody to tell me that something is off. And I don't need anybody to tell me what to do. I will search in that room and find out. I will send her out and go search and find out if there's something there. So security is something that we all have to, we don't have to wait until it becomes a major problem. Then we start screaming,
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I mean, sadly, we cannot exhaust this discussion in 30 minutes, but I'm sure we'll have another time to dig deeper. Thank you so much for coming on Politics and Mind. I've been speaking with a lawyer, development consultant, and public affairs analyst, Awokoya. Tonight, we focused on deepening women participation and governance in Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us.